Episode 14, Into the Black Marsh. The journey to the Black Marsh was more perilous than any of us had anticipated. Ikenna's warning echoed in my mind as we ventured deeper into the wilderness. The air grew thick, heavy with an almost tangible sense of danger, as if the very earth beneath our feet was alive with ancient forces. The Black Marsh was a cursed place. No one had ventured there in centuries, and the few who had returned spoke of shadows that moved without bodies, whispers that led travelers astray, and spirits that twisted their minds into madness. But it was the only place that might hold the heart of the Vale, and with the Council's agents on our trail, there was no time to waste. We trudged through the dense undergrowth, our path obscured by thorns and thick vines. The air was damp, clinging to our skin, and every step felt like we were sinking deeper into the earth's grip. The forest seemed to close in around us, suffocating, as though the trees themselves were watching, waiting for something. Chidike led the way, his movements sure and steady, but even he seemed uneasy. Ikenna followed close behind, his eyes darting around constantly, alert to every sound, every rustle in the trees. As for me, I felt a strange pull, a sensation deep within my chest that seemed to guide me forward, as if the veil itself was calling to me. Amara, are you alright? Chidike's voice broke through my thoughts, his concern evident. I nodded, though the unease in my gut only deepened. I'm fine. Just, something doesn't feel right. Ikenna stopped in his tracks, his eyes narrowing as he scanned the surroundings. It's the spirits. They are restless here. The veil is thin in these parts. As he spoke, the forest seemed to grow colder, the temperature dropping sharply. A sudden gust of wind howled through the trees, carrying with it a mournful, eerie wail that sent a shiver down my spine. I could feel the power stirring within me, reacting to the disturbance. We need to move quickly, Ikenna said, his voice low and urgent. The deeper we go, the more dangerous it becomes. But as we pushed forward, the dangers of the Black Marsh began to reveal themselves. First came the shadows, figures flitting in and out of our vision, always just out of reach. I could hear whispers, soft at first, like a distant murmur, but they grew louder with each step. The air seemed to thicken, pressing against me, as if the spirits were trying to make their presence known. Suddenly, I felt a cold hand brush my arm. I spun around, my heart racing, but there was nothing there. Amara. Chidike's voice was tight with concern. What's wrong? I felt something, I said, my voice trembling. There was something, someone, touching me. Ikenna's expression darkened. We've entered the heart of the Black Marsh. The spirits here don't want us to leave. We continued on, our pace quickening as the forest seemed to close in around us. The further we went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The ground beneath our feet became soft and treacherous, sucking at our boots with each step, as though the earth itself was trying to swallow us whole. It wasn't long before we came to the first sign of true danger, a vast swamp, dark and stagnant, its surface covered in a thick, green film. The air was rank, filled with the stench of decay. And as we approached the edge of the swamp, I saw something that made my heart stop. A figure stood at the far side, barely visible through the mist, tall, cloaked in shadows, with glowing eyes that seemed to pierce the darkness. It was no human. I could feel it. It was something ancient, something that had been bound to this place for eons. Do not go any further, the figure's voice echoed, a low growl that reverberated in the air. The heart of the veil belongs to the spirits. Leave now, or you will pay the price. Ikenna stepped forward, his face a mask of defiance. We've come for the heart. We don't have time to waste with warnings. The figure's eyes flickered with a strange intensity. Then you will learn the cost of your defiance. Before any of us could react, the figure lunged, moving with unnatural speed. The ground beneath our feet buckled, and the air grew thick with energy. The spirits of the Black Marsh were stirring, their restless whispers turning into a full-throated wail. I barely had time to react before a blast of cold air slammed into me, knocking me off my feet. I landed hard on the ground, gasping for breath as a sudden wave of dread washed over me. The spirits were here, and they were angry. Chidike rushed to my side, pulling me up. "Amara, are you okay?" I don't know," I gasped, my mind reeling from the surge of energy that had almost overwhelmed me. "It's too much. The spirits, they are too powerful here." Ikenna turned to us, his face grim. "We need to get to the heart quickly. The spirits here are bound to protect it. If we don't act fast, we'll never make it out alive." As we moved forward, the figure in the mist disappeared into the shadows, but its presence lingered, a constant reminder that we were not alone in the Black Marsh. The further we went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The whispers grew louder, and I could feel the spirits watching us, waiting for us to make a mistake. Finally, we reached the ruins of the ancient temple that Ikenna had spoken of, a crumbling structure, half sunken into the swamp, its once great walls now little more than rubble. It was there that the heart of the veil was said to be hidden, and it was there that we would face the true test of our resolve. But as we approached, I felt a sudden shift in the air, a pulse of energy that sent a shockwave through the ground. The veil was thin here, so thin, in fact, that I could feel the boundary between the living and the dead beginning to fray. "We're here," Chidike said, his voice barely a whisper. But as we stepped into the temple's crumbling entrance, I felt the ground beneath us tremble. Something was waiting for us. To be continued.